Welcome to Drama Recap. Today, we will revisit the captivating 2008 fantasy romantic drama, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Prepare for a nostalgic journey. Remember to switch on the subtitles and beware, spoilers are incoming. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. In the midst of Hurricane Katrina's fury, an elderly woman finds herself in a hospital bed in New Orleans. Another woman, significantly younger, tries her best to comfort her. The elder woman, Daisy, is prepared for the end. Her mind is filled with a story from the past. The tale of a watchmaker, blinded and grief-stricken over his son's loss in the war. In his sorrow, he crafted a unique town clock, designed to run backward, a symbolic wish to reverse time and bring back the sons lost to the war. Daisy requests the younger woman, Caroline, to fetch a book from her belongings. As Caroline flips through the pages filled with mementos, she stumbles upon a will and testament. It doesn't bequeath any material wealth, but instead offers insights into the life of a man named Benjamin. As the town celebrates the end of the war, a man rushes home, only to find his wife on her deathbed after childbirth. She pleads with him to love their child before passing away. However, the sight of the newborn, strangely resembling an old man, overwhelms him. He tries to abandon the child in a nearby lake but ends up leaving him on the steps of a well-lit house in an alley. Meanwhile, a couple is engaged in a romantic conversation outside the house. The woman follows an old lady into the house while the man nearly stumbles over the abandoned baby. Shocked and fascinated by the baby's unusual appearance, the woman decides to take him in despite the man's reservations. She hides the baby in her room and later introduces him to a doctor. The doctor's diagnosis is both alarming and perplexing. The baby suffers from various old age ailments and appears to be an elderly man on the brink of death. Regardless of the doctor's warning, the woman, Queenie, decides to care for the baby and names him Benjamin. Queenie raises Benjamin in the shelter, providing a home for this extraordinary child. In his early years, Benjamin navigates life under the impression that he, like the elderly residents of the shelter, is in the twilight of his existence. Despite his physical limitations confining him to a wheelchair, he embraces his youthful spirit, with Queenie steadfastly by his side. One evening, Queenie takes Benjamin to a faith healer, seeking a miracle for her own fertility and to lift the so-called devil's curse off Benjamin. Despite an initial stumble, Benjamin manages to stand and take a few steps, causing the healer to collapse in elated shock. Benjamin's victory becomes a celebrated event. As time goes on, Benjamin observes the natural ebb and flow of life at the shelter, the frequent arrivals and departures leaving him to ponder his own mortality. During this time, he befriends a pygmy man who introduces him to train rides and parks. Once, the pygmy man leaves him alone, and Benjamin spends the entire night hobbling home, considering it one of the best experiences of his life. On Thanksgiving, families visit the shelter, and Benjamin meets the granddaughter of one of the residents, Daisy. With her auburn hair and blue eyes, she captures Benjamin's heart instantly. Amidst the Thanksgiving festivities, Queenie surprises everyone with news of her pregnancy. As Benjamin grapples with this revelation, Daisy starts to connect with him. One evening, the two share a secretive candlelit meeting in the basement, where Benjamin confesses his unique condition. Daisy, accepting of his difference, forms a bond with him. Their budding friendship, however, is disrupted when Daisy's grandmother scolds them for their misadventures. When Daisy leaves, Benjamin returns to the company of the elderly, learning skills such as playing the piano from them. As he experiences bodily changes, he starts to embrace new opportunities. One such instance is when he lands a job at the port, working on a boat, a task that fills him with a sense of adventure and excitement. Growing closer to Captain Mike, Benjamin confesses his virginity, prompting the captain to introduce him to a world of alcohol, emotions, and women at a local brothel. Despite his unusual appearance, a sex worker becomes enamored with Benjamin's unexpected endurance, and he quickly becomes a favorite client. One day, a car pulls up next to Benjamin, and the driver introduces himself as Thomas Button. They share a drink at a lavish bar where they discuss Benjamin's unique condition. Thomas invites Benjamin to visit him from time to time, hinting at a connection. During another Thanksgiving, Daisy spends the day with Benjamin on a tugboat, forming deeper bonds. However, the death of one of Benjamin's elderly friends leads him to the realization that his life trajectory differs significantly from everyone else's. With fond farewells to his friends and the shelter, he embarks on a new journey, promising Daisy to write her postcards from wherever he goes. Life at sea proves to be grueling, but Daisy's letters provide solace. Meanwhile, Daisy's ballet career flourishes. Benjamin and his crew enjoy occasional land excursions, visiting brothels and bars. During one such stopover, Benjamin encounters Elizabeth and her husband Walter, who is secretly a spy, at a hotel. Benjamin and Elizabeth find comfort in each other's company during sleepless nights when Walter is absent. An emotional bond develops between them, leading to Benjamin falling for the married Elizabeth. Upon learning of Benjamin's relationship with Elizabeth, Daisy, despite her growing success as a dancer, is heartbroken. Benjamin and Elizabeth's affair continues unabated, culminating in a passionate relationship. However, this secret liaison comes to an abrupt end when Elizabeth stops appearing at their usual meeting place, the hotel lobby. When war erupts at sea, Benjamin faces another loss. While their tugboat is caught in the crossfire of the conflict, several crew members, including Captain Mike, are killed, and their boat is destroyed. Benjamin, however, survives the ordeal and mourns his fallen comrades. Returning to the shelter, Benjamin is met with the warm embrace of Queenie. Despite the sorrow of losing friends at sea and the familiar faces at the shelter, both find a shared sense of gratitude and repentance. One day, Daisy visits the shelter. Benjamin is struck by the transformation of the young girl he once knew into a beautiful woman. They spend an evening together, during which Benjamin finds himself falling for Daisy, who, now a graceful dancer, initiates a kiss and seduction. However, Benjamin resists her advances, leaving Daisy disappointed. Soon, Thomas pays a visit to the shelter and invites Benjamin for dinner. During the meal, he expresses his fondness for Benjamin's company and later reveals a profound secret: Benjamin is his son. He takes Benjamin to his home, showing him the button factory and an old photograph of his mother, Caroline. Overwhelmed, Benjamin leaves in a state of confusion and pain. Later, during an early morning visit to the lake, Thomas surrenders to his mortality. Following this, Benjamin travels to New York to attend Daisy's ballet performance. Once again, he is captivated by her grace on stage. Despite his love for Daisy, Benjamin becomes jealous when he sees her being kissed by a friend at the after-party. Although Daisy chases after him, their conversation ends with Benjamin expressing happiness for her and her boyfriend. Benjamin spends his subsequent days on solo motorcycle trips and fixing things at the shelter. One day, Benjamin receives a letter that shatters his heart. Daisy had been struck by a taxi in Paris and lay in a hospital bed, racked with multiple injuries. While Benjamin wishes to bring her home, Daisy insists that he stay out of her life. Heartbroken, Benjamin copes with the pain through a string of fleeting relationships. Eventually, Daisy reaches out to Benjamin, leading to a passionate reunion. They spend the following years expressing their love in diverse locations and under various weather conditions. However, as Benjamin's condition starts to affect their relationship, Daisy fears that she will age into an old woman while Benjamin remains youthful. Despite this, she reassures herself of Benjamin's love. When they receive news of Queenie's death, both Benjamin and Daisy are devastated, but time helps them heal. Benjamin sells his father's mansion and settles into a duplex with Daisy. As Daisy grapples with the loss of her youth, she promises to embrace the aging process. She opens a ballet class and reveals that she's pregnant with Benjamin's child. This news worries Benjamin, as he fears the baby might inherit his condition or that he might not be a capable father. Daisy, however, assures him that they will make their family work. 9 months later, Daisy gives birth to their daughter, who they name Caroline, after Benjamin's mother. As Caroline reads through the diary, she becomes upset by the revelations but continues to read. The reality of Benjamin's condition becomes more apparent when he recognizes that his daughter needs a father figure, not a playmate. Despite his love for his wife and daughter, Benjamin decides to leave, bequeathing them his inheritance, and ventures alone into the uncertain path his condition leads him. Caroline reads through the heartfelt regrets expressed in the postcards that Benjamin sent her throughout her life. Meanwhile, Benjamin spends the remainder of his years drifting aimlessly in various places. One day, Benjamin, who now appears to be a teenager due to his condition, decides to visit Daisy and Caroline. However, upon arrival, he discovers that Daisy has remarried the man who had been a father figure to Caroline. Despite this, Daisy and Benjamin share one last passionate night together in a hotel, marking the end of their encounters for many years. Eventually, a man delivers a diary to Daisy, a diary belonging to Benjamin. At this point, Benjamin, despite his youthful appearance, is suffering from dementia and can only play a familiar tune on the piano. Daisy, now old, steps in to care for the young-looking, demented Benjamin. Amidst the confusion and pain brought about by his memory loss, Benjamin's life comes to an end. Simultaneously, a hurricane devastates New Orleans, coinciding with the moment Caroline finishes reading Benjamin's diary. As the city becomes submerged under the floodwaters, the tale of Benjamin and the backward ticking watch reaches its conclusion.